welcome to the Lowdown Mortgage Podcast, the show where we dive deep into the topics that directly impact the evolving originator. I'm your host, Connor Bartley. Bam! And joining me today is someone who built her reputation in West Virginia, not through flashy marketing or a massive team, but by deciding that every single borrower, no matter how complicated the file, deserves to be treated with kindness, respect, and a plan. She thrives in chaos, describes her work as a hobby that she gets paid for, and just cracked the top 10 in her company after setting her sights on that goal a year ago. Rachel Lester, welcome to the Lowdown.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm excited to talk to you. I've enjoyed getting to know you kind of leading up to this and just sort of talking about things. And I just know you'll add a lot of value to this episode. And for anyone who's listening, just a little context. I know when we first sort of intersected, you were on your way to the top producers trip for your company. And so when we first spoke, it was after you'd come back, and you found out at that trip, I believe it was, that you ranked in the top, like, what was it, 8 or 9 in your company. And last year you were 13th. And so you set your sights on that goal of like, hey, I'm getting in that top 10. I'm just curious, like, what does that drive feel like on a day-to-day basis? Like, how do you stay fueled up to do something like that? Because that's really impressive.
Thank you. Well, I think for me, I have to set goals every year. So day one, after we left the conference, our words conference last year, I said, I want to be in the top 10. That was my goal, because I'm the type of person, I can't sit idly by. I don't think anyone should. So I always set goals for myself. I'm so complex now. I categorize my goals into separate departments: personal, my home, my business, what I want to be. And so that was just first email I sent is like, what does it take to be in the top 10? What's that number? And so, I'm a visual person. I keep visual clues in front of me. And so I just keep eye on the prize. And so that's, it's exciting. Now, it was when we returned, we got the announcement that I was in the top 10, which was exciting, but I've got to stay there. I can't quit. I can be happy right now, but I'm not resting my oars on that. I'm just continuing to fuel on, because we've got so many great, amazing loan officers around me that we're all competitive, and it's fun.
Yeah. Yes. So have you always been that way, or is that something that's just developed over time?
I've probably always been born this way. I mean, and I have a servant's heart. I want to help people, truly. That's what fuels me. It's serving people. Home buying is one of the biggest experiences that one will go through. And so if I can be a tiny part of that and help, that's just the foundation. And so beyond that, it's, making sure that I'm treating people the way I want to be treated. And that just builds on success. If I treat you good, if I do a good job for you, then they refer me, their family, their friends, and I ask them. I always say, hey, I love the experience. Send me people just like you, and just asking them, and they do, and it's a wonderful continuing relationship beyond the transaction. I'm relational. I'm not transactional. I want to stay with you forever. I'm going to be your forever lender.
So you're in West Virginia, which is probably a different market than what I'm in, which is Dallas, Fort Worth, right? And are you running into clients in the grocery store, or how often are you seeing people that you've helped get into home?
It's funny with today's technology, a lot of people I don't see until closing day when I go to. Yeah, so it's interesting. I took a peek at a driver's license. My assistant collects the, all the pertinent documents, and I just happened to see this, and I was like, oh, gosh, this is what they look like. Everything's online. It's just connection. Yeah, I do. I have run into people. It's a small town. It's not like Dallas. I mean, I'm doing twice the volume for the same, sales amount, right? It just is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's wonderful. And I know your background was economic development,
Hmm.
not your typical path into mortgage.
Hmm.
How did having that background kind of shape the way that you look at a file? Is there a specific deal that you could not have closed without thinking like a deal structurer rather than
Yeah.
just as a loan officer?
I think having that background in economic development and strategic planning certainly helped me because every single file is different. Everyone's circumstance is different. And so it does help me. I always like to say that nobody gets a no when they come to me. They get a yes. And the yes may be you might not be ready today, but here's your plan moving forward. And if they take those steps and do what I'm suggesting they do, then they'll come back to me and we'll successfully close them on a house. And so, yeah, definitely looking at it strategically helps. And I think that there's a gratitude in that. I've got a lot of people that come to me and I'm able to help them that they're not quite ready, maybe with their credit scores or what have you. And so I get such an appreciative client that I'm able to help. And that feels good. It's just that servant, having that servant heart again, that I come from my foundation.
Yeah. Well, I love that. I love the way you think through that or the way like your heart in that because I know a lot of people struggle with saying the hard things that people need to hear but maybe don't want to hear. And it sounds like it comes from a place of love, and I think when it comes from a loving place, it's a lot easier to say those hard things because people accept it differently, right? Have you always kind of been like the give it to you straight kind of person?
I think that's absolutely who I am.
You strike me
I'm
as
a
that.
I'm an Aries. If you know anything about astrology, I'm an Aries. I define being an Aries. So I'm definitely tell it like it is. I'm straightforward and I can't help it. I
Yeah.
just can't. That's who I am. But no, I think people appreciate that honesty. They see authenticity in that.
Hmm.
And that's certainly something that I'm not trying to be. I am. I want people to have that opinion of me.
Yeah. That's great. Well, and then from a team perspective, I know you guys just kind of went through a little bit of a shift. You started
Mhm.
working with another team that's providing some more support and it helped you sort of let go of things that you've been holding on to for a long time. In fact, I think the way it changed your structure. So, in the first few months, you were already past, in the first few months of this year, I think, what did you say? You've already passed where you were at the halfway
Yes.
point of last year? Or
Yes.
what's the hardest thing to let go of for you? And what changed immediately when you did?
Well, one of the things I know about myself, and when you truly evaluate yourself and the things you're good at and staying in your lane and the things you enjoy and what brings the highest value to people, that's what I did. I did a little exercise and I knew that leaving last year, I knew there were some things that frustrated me. I'm not a manager. I don't like to manage people, as I shared with you. I don't like to tell people what to do. I like people who are self starters and I like them to surround me. And so that was one thing I knew I really wanted to let go of. I wanted to let go of managing. I'm happy to help people. And I have loan officers that I will help all day, every day. They can call me, they can count on me, but I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to help you through it, but I can't do it for you. And so when we made our shift with the company and went under this other team, we call it boutique lending now because it's just, white glove service because someone else is taking care of that, a wonderful human who I love, adore, and I think she's one of the most fantastic people ever. And she has really changed my business. And so I think I can credit my success, to where I want to be to what I've been able to let go. Letting go can be hard if, I guess a lot of loan officers can be control freaks and, letting go. But I really had an easier time letting go because I did the work and I realized what is my highest value. I think my assistant had a little harder time letting go than I did, but it's been
Yeah.
fantastic. It really has because we've really been able to help more people add value and not get hung up in the details.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people struggle with that. They take on so much where it's, social media, then you got to work the database, and then you've got an event plan, and there's just
Hmm.
a long list that starts to um, grow as you grow. Eventually you reach where you just can't do anymore. So
Hmm.
being willing to let go is important. I know the one thing that you said that you never want to give up is the loan consult.
Yeah.
And that's something you always want to be involved in. Why is that?
Well, I think that I do have a pre-approval specialist. She sets up the file and sort of primes the pump for me and lets me know all about it. But I won't give up that one-to-one conversation. I want the borrower to know I'm involved. I want to know that my eyes are on it and that I'm giving them the best service possible. And I enjoy doing that. I like structuring deals. I don't, I just don't want to give that up. I know that I'm good at it. And I think the borrowers appreciate that as well. I think they appreciate the fact that I'm involved and they want to hear from me and they want, my input. And I think my borrowers they struggle. And we talked about this letting go through the process. They don't want to talk to anyone. I've
Right.
spoiled a lot of people. The processor sends them a list or talks to them, and she's so friendly and she's so nice and introduces herself, but they still run back to me and it's like, hey, she's asking me for this. It's fine. Yeah, she's supposed to. It's totally fine. And I
Yeah.
do call my borrowers weekly and just to check in and see how they're doing. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
that's a common problem that happens for originators that are growing,
Hmm.
right? The
Yeah.
clients, the agents, they still want to deal with the loan officer
Right.
exclusively, and getting that transition of, no, this person is a team member of mine, you need to
Hmm.
communicate with them. That can be a difficult transitional period. How have you navigated that? Like, what are some of the things that you've done to help make that work in your favor, I guess, or get people
Well,
to commit more to that?
you see my facial expressions. I know the audience can't, but I'm still navigating that.
Sure.
I was thinking about this just the other day about how many hours am I spending on certain tasks, and there's only so many hours of the day, and what can I forgo? So I can't say that I've mastered it. I'm navigating through the process of trying to let go and make some adjustments and make sure that my bars are served, because customer service is I want to make sure that everyone on my team is treating my customers the way I treat them, and they are. And I want my and you had some great suggestions when we talked about the introductions and stuff like that, and I think those are some things I'm definitely implementing to help them to trust who's in the process.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'd love to hear feedback on that if when you get a chance. There's a
Hmm.
story I want to highlight that you shared with me because I think it reveals a lot about you and your personality. You mentioned that there was a time where a listing agent said there was no way you could close this deal in 2 weeks. And so you called on everybody and said, all hands on deck, because you wanted to prove them wrong, right?
Yes.
What does that like? What is that about you that makes you want to do that? And how do you use those moments to build your reputation with referral partners who
Well,
maybe aren't in your corner?
well, I definitely think that I love new listing agents because I love being able to show them how we do things and how we might do it different or how we do it better. Because my referral partners, when I'm talking to a borrower that they trust me with, that they send to me, and then we have our loan consult, the one thing that I share with them is I am an extension of your agent's professional service. I want them to know that as the trust that they had with their agent, she's trusting with me, and I'm going to be an extension of that. And so when I get these listing agents that challenge, like, no way, she can't do that. When one of my referral partners said that, which was really put me on the spot, but it's okay. I did, we were supposed to close in 4 weeks and we did. We got it done in 2 weeks, which was amazing. So, and that's probably goes back to that competitive nature as well. Just to, you know, I can do anything with the right attitude. So And
That's
we've
right.
got such a
Totally.
fantastic bunch of people involved. So yeah, and again, you said it in the intro that this job, this career is. I wake up every single day and I'm so excited to come to work and so excited to help people. And I hope that never leaves. Someone asked me the other day about retirement. I'm like, what? You know, I guess I got my AARP card last year, and but I can't even imagine myself retiring. I probably will be here forever. I mean, I
Yeah.
can't see that happening.
Well, I'm excited for something that you told me about, which is you're planning your first client appreciation event, which sounds like a cool place. A selfie like venue, people can take different
Yeah.
pictures in front of different setups. What made this the year that you finally wanted to get out and just like throw in a big event like that and kind of meet with everybody again, person to person?
So when we set the goals from last year, when we left Detroit, came back home, there were certain things that I knew as part of feeling, that my success has been built on my referral partners, my past clients. I really wanted to draw attention to giving back and saying, hey, thanks, guys. This is what we're doing. And so we came up with not we wanted to have some things going that were kind of out of the box. And so that was one that my pre-approval specialist came up with. And so I'm excited about that. It's in a couple weeks, and we've sent our invites out, and it'll be exciting to see how many people show up and the engagement. And we've got a couple personal backdrops ourselves. So that'll be fun. And that's something that we're definitely doing more of. And this year, at least twice a year, we'll have these appreciation recognitions for our past clients.
Yeah. Well, if your clients have teenage kids, this venue is going to be a hit, right? Because
I think
in my
so.
world, if there's a
Yes.
yeah, in my world, if there's a place where you can take really good pictures, we gotta
Uh-huh.
go, right? Like I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many weird locations I've been dragged to just to take pictures.
Yeah. I think
So,
it'll be fun.
um,
Yeah.
yeah. So one of my favorite questions that I've started asking people is if they went on Shark Tank and they got the investment, how would they invest it back in their business? Like what would that look like for you? What would be the area that you could invest in that would unlock growth right now the most for you?
Yeah. That's a good question. I guess I would just put back into, I would say if it was something on a personal level, like in my complete business, our company does such a good job providing such amazing tools. I can't imagine, there would be some ancillary things that we could do as well, but just doing some events and things like that, hosting. And I don't know, it stumped me again. This is another question that stumped me because it's one of those that I would definitely have to think of, because I'm not driven by the dollar. I'm driven by the service, and I guess I'm driven by the trophy also, but I never put that in monetary terms. So it's hard for me to come up with a direct answer other than to say I know it would be directed toward what I could give back in either in my
Yeah.
community, directly to our borrowers, our realtor partners, and things like that. That's probably my best. Hey, I hope I get the opportunity to have that problem. Right, that's what I want.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the term I use for that you just described is impact over income. I see that happen.
Hmm.
There's a shift that happens a lot of times within an originator where they're not focused so much on what the income gain is going to be, but the measure of the impact. If I can make a bigger impact, I'm interested, right? Because income follows impact.
Right.
And I think
That's right.
once you realize that, a lot of starts to unfold. Now,
Hmm.
as we get here to the end, Rachel, I know when we talked before, I love your perspective on how you look at this job as like a hobby. It's like it's something you enjoy doing. It's not a job for you, right? It's something that's you gain a lot from personally. For someone listening right now who got into this business for all the right reasons, but now is feeling a little overwhelmed, what would you say to them?
Hmm. I guess I would say take inventory of where you're at and what would the shift be that would get you your alignment. I mean, for me, last year probably was a very stressful year because I realized that there were things that I needed to align in my life, to have that perfect alignment. So that's probably what I'd say. My best advice was evaluate where you are, what's your most value, and what are the things that you can allow someone else to do, to give up, like we chose to do. And we're winning. I mean, think about giving up as something that you're losing, but that's kind of how it sounds. But we're winning every day, and the proof is here. You know.
Yeah. Why is that letting go so difficult? Like, what is it about that that makes it so hard to sort of say you take it?
Would say it's fear based, the unknowns, not knowing, not trust, not being able to trust the process. It's definitely fear based. But, if you, people trust us every day to do the right thing, and we have to be a model for that as well. And so
Yeah,
that's what we've definitely done. And again, I've adjusted very, very well. I've adjusted very well. So, and we
that's great.
continue to adjust, and I'm continuing to figure out, what are some other things, what are some more things so that I can be of the most highest value. What's my best, highest value?
Yeah. Well, Rachel, I'm excited for you. I'm looking forward to seeing where things go for you and what's next around the corner. I can tell you, while this may be a new chapter, it's a welcome one, and one that's really opening a lot of doors for you. So I think there's going to be some amazing things down the road, and excited to see, because I mean, you're a great person. You seem like someone who deserves it. And so I hope nothing but the best for you. And I just want to say thank you for joining me on the lowdown and getting your story out there.
Thank you, Connor. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, for anyone listening, if you'd like to follow the show, make sure you subscribe. The Lowdown is on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. There's a new episode every day, Monday through Friday, talking with people like Rachel, and learning a little bit about their business and what makes them tick, and what has been a turning point that's really opened up great things for them for growth. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.